Hi guys, it's Lucy, and today I'm going to be doing my favorite books of 2015. I was originally going to try and make this my top 15 books of 2015, but then I counted how many books I had and it was only 14, so now it's titled Favorite. And I do not want this video to be 3 million years long since I do have 14 books to talk about, so I'm going to try and not talk a lot about each book so that this video isn't too long. Oh, and one more thing, the books in this video are not in any particular order, they're just like whatever order I looked on Goodreads and was like, oh, I like this one, this one, this one. It was in that order, except the last two are both my number one favorite. They're even in my head. First, I have Tricks by Ellen Hopkins. This was the first Ellen Hopkins book I read this year, and it did not disappoint. I love Ellen Hopkins' writing style. If you don't know, she writes in poetry, in poem form, so like each chapter is like another poem, and it's really interesting and beautiful the way she writes, I think, and it really brought the story of Tricks like to life. In my opinion, Tricks is about 5 teenagers who at first are as different as possibly can be, and slowly they end up going on the same path toward selling their bodies. This book is pretty graphic, so I do not recommend it if you are, I don't know, can't watch PG-13 movies, like you are sensitive to any sexual or vulgarity in books or the media you consume. But I do think it is very important because it does bring stories that maybe you don't normally think about to life. Next, I have We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This book is basically shrouded in mystery, and I'm not going to help you if you haven't read it because I really think you should go into this book knowing as little as possible. But what I am going to tell you is that it's about a rich girl whose family owns a summer house and they go there every year, and it's about her and her friends, and that's all you need to know. I really enjoyed this book because, again, the writing style is very poetic. While it's not written in poetry, it is very poetic and metaphorical, which I enjoyed a lot. The next book I have is technically cheating because I have not yet finished it, and that is My True Love Gave to Me. If you don't know, I'm currently reading this for the holiday booktubeathon, and it is over today, so hopefully I will finish this today. But I only have 4 stories left, and I really love almost all the stories I've already read, so unless these 4 stories are incredibly awful, then this is definitely one of my favorites. It's just been so cute, and every story puts me in the holiday mood. The lowest star rating I've given any of the stories is 3.5 stars, but all the other ones have gotten 4 or 5 stars, and I'm really enjoying it. And yeah, I think it's going to be one of my favorites. If it's not, this video is going to be really embarrassing, and I really wish that it wasn't written now because I'm really liking it a lot. And this is a book full of short stories written by various authors, and yeah, each one is just putting me more and more in the holiday mood, even though half the holiday is over, but we still have New Year's, and there are some New Year's stories. I was right. Next, I have Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. To date, this is my favorite Rainbow Rowell book. In total, I've read 3 of her books, and she has 5 out, including Carry On. So yeah, I still need to read Landline and Carry On, but right now this is my favorite. I really like this book. It was just super cute. Everything in it was so cute, and it really resonated with me because I read it right after I finished my first year of college, and this book is about Kath, who is in her first year of college, and it just follows her through the year as she comes to terms with like not always being attached to her sister and being a fangirl, because she is a huge fan of a series that parallels Harry Potter in our world, and the series is called the Simon Snow series, and she is a prominent fanfiction writer, and she is currently writing the 7th book, or a fanfiction of what she wants the 7th book of the series to be, and that is a big part of the story, and there are excerpts from her story, which I really enjoyed, which is why I really want to read Carry On. Hopefully I will get to do that, and so yeah, this has been one of my favorite books, and I really want to reread it because it was just really cute, and I recommend it. Next I have Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. I read this book with somewhat low expectations, not like low, but like I didn't really know what to expect. I just heard that it was going to be a movie, so I wanted to read it, and I've yet to see the movie, and hopefully I will do that this break. But Yeah, it's just a really funny book. It put me in a good mood, even though it is about a girl with cancer. It is about a boy named Greg, right? That's his name? I think his name is Greg. And his best friend is Earl, and they make movies together. And then his mom forces him to be friends with a girl that he used to be friends with when he was younger, who now has cancer, and she doesn't have a lot of friends, so she's basically his only friend. And yeah, just about them and like cancer, I guess. And like Greg's voice is just really funny. I really enjoyed it. I want to read more from Jesse Andrews. Sometimes the humor can not be for people. I feel like it was very on the edge of being for me, but it was for me. Next, I'm going to talk about Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I read this book very recently, and I'm so glad I did. The hype for it was real, and it was well deserved. It's a really enjoyable book. I actually have a review on this book that I will link down below and somewhere on the screen. So I really enjoyed Ready Player One. It is about this boy in the near future who plays this game called the Oasis, which is basically like a virtual reality that everyone plays. And there is a competition to become the owner of the Oasis after the creator dies. And he is the first one to find like the first part of the competition, if that makes any sense. And yeah, it just basically goes from there, and you learn about the future, and it's really cool, and the Oasis is really cool, and I'm pretty sure this is getting made into a movie. Next, I have a book that is already a movie. That book is The Martian by Andy Weir. The hype for this book was also real and also well deserved. I really enjoyed it. It's like really funny, and you don't expect it because of the synopsis, but it's really funny and also very scientific. The synopsis is that an astronaut named Mark Watney is sent with his crew to Mars to explore, and then something goes wrong 6 days in, and they all have to leave. But then an accident happens, and basically the whole crew thinks Mark is dead. And so they leave him on Mars because, he's dead, and go back to Earth. But turns out Mark isn't dead, and he has to survive on Mars until basically someone can get him or he dies. And it's really funny. Mark has a great sense of humor. I also want to read more by Andy Weir because this book is also very well researched. There's a lot of science in it, and like it's all explained, I think, in a very good way that basically anyone can understand it. And some people did find the science boring, but I didn't. Next, I have The Book of Blood and Shadow by Robin Wasserman. This book I didn't think would be a favorite of mine, but the more that I think about it, the more that it is. The book starts off really slowly. It's about this girl whose best friend dies, and then she has to find out why in the very generalist of terms. A lot of it is in the front cover, which actually disappointed. Like, the fact that her best friend dies is in the front cover, so yeah, it's not a spoiler, but it's very interesting. Half of the book actually takes place in Prague, which again is very interesting. I really enjoyed it. I ended up thinking a lot about like who's really your friend, how well do you know people, how do you know what's real, what's not real, things like that. Yeah, I just think it's a really interesting book. There's a lot of like Latin translation, which I also thought was really cool. Next, I have Isla and the Happily Ever After by Stephanie Perkins. This is the third book in the Anne and the French Kiss companion series, and I really enjoyed it. There were a lot, I did have some issues with it, but the fact that it was the last book, there were a bunch of things that happened, and I also did like this love story the best of the three, and yeah, it was really cute. Stephanie Perkins' writing is just so cute, like there's no other way to explain it. Like everything that happened was really cute. Even though it was a companion series, it still did incorporate some of the other books, and I really enjoyed it. Next, I have Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. This was a book that I didn't expect to like as much as I did. It was really enjoyable. This is basically about the end of the world. The apocalypse is about to happen. The book is mostly told from the perspective of an angel and a demon, two people on the opposite sides of the war of the apocalypse. And yeah, there are a lot of like other characters, and they're really interesting, and the book was pretty funny. Next, I have Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. This is the first book that I've read by Gillian Flynn, or Gillian Flynn. No one's told me how to say her name, so I'm just gonna keep saying it wrong, or right, like I don't know. But yeah, this is the first book I've read by her, and I'm really enjoying it. I wanted to read it because I saw Gone Girl last year, earlier this year, something like that, whatever. I saw Gone Girl, and I really, really liked it a lot. So I was like, I want to read more of Gillian Flynn since she, wrote the book that Gone Girl is based on. But I didn't want to read Gone Girl because I'd already seen the movie and knew everything that happens. So since it is like a psychological thriller, like finding out what happens is a large part of it. So I didn't think I would enjoy it as much. But now I'm thinking the opposite because I really like Dark Places, and I'm like starting to consider Gillian Flynn one of my favorite authors, even though I've only read one book by her. Dark Places is about this girl whose brother ends up killing her whole family, and then this takes place 20 years later. Her brother's in jail, and then there's a group of people who are out to prove that her brother was actually innocent and did not kill her family. And the girl ends up joining with these people to like try and find out the truth. And yeah, it was really good. It was really scary. And yeah, if you don't like books that are scary, then I do not recommend. But otherwise, I definitely do. It was really good. The third to last book I have to talk about is Perfect Scoundrels by Ali Carter. This is the third book in the High Society trilogy. It was a really good trilogy. I thought this was a great series ender, and as I said before, I tend to like the last book the best just because it ends everything and like wraps everything up. So yeah, that was the case for this one. I really enjoyed this series. Since this is the third book, I'm not going to talk about what it's about, but the first book is about this girl named Kat whose family is basically a heist family. I kind of want to compare them to the mob, but they're not the mob. They just steal things. Like, they don't sell drugs or anything. So, yeah, but they're like a heist family. Like, everyone in her family, like, steals things and, like, are con artists, and it's great. The first book is about Kat trying to prove that her dad didn't steal something, and then finding the thing and getting it back to prove her dad's innocence, basically. The second to last book I'm going to talk about is my top favorite of the year, or like half of my top favorite. I don't know. These two books, the two next books, hold the top spot together. Like it's an uneven pyramid. I don't know. But the book is All the Right Places by Jennifer Niven. I enjoyed this book so much. It was really good. It was really heartbreaking. It's just really sad. This book is basically about two suicidal teens, although one is more suicidal than the other. And it's just about them finding their way in life and looking for all the right places. Wow, that was so cheesy, but it's really heartbreaking. It's really good. I recommend it 100%. The last book, which is also my number one favorite of this year, is Welcome to Nightvale by Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Cranor. This book I've been talking about almost the entire time my channel has been alive. I've been so excited for this book. This was my most anticipated book of the year. It did not disappoint. I did a whole review on this book that I will link down below and somewhere on the screen. This book is basically just about these two women trying to find out about King City. That's basically all you need to know. So I'm finally finished. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you did one of these videos where you talk about your favorite books of the year, I'd love to see it, so link it down below. If you like seeing me talk about books, please be sure to subscribe to my channel because I make more videos where I talk about books. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Hopefully I will get to... I just hit myself in the face. While it's not reading in poem. A space astronaut. Dark Place is about this girl who kills her brother. No, that's not what it's about.